In the evening hours of September 12th, 1952, three young boys were hanging out when they witnessed something that would change their lives, as well as the history of their little town. Join us today as we discuss the mystery of the Flatwoods Monster. All right, everyone, welcome back to
Unknown,
Unsolved,
Unseen,
Triple U.
Woohoo! Episode, the 76?
I don't know. I think so. That sounds right. That sounds right. You want to introduce yourself?
I'm your out-of-this-world host, Frank. I know I've used this one before.
And I am your amateur UFOologist, Sage.
Is it UFOologist or ufologist?
Whichever is fine. I don't know. I.e., I'm an amateur, so.
It's amateur hour out here, guys. Just remember. But
yeah.
Sage, do you know what episode this is?
No.
The MILF episode.
Oh, right.
Man, I love Flatwoods Monster.
Ha 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 ha. I liked it as the monster I'd like to fuck.
Gross. So, let us know what's in store for today, because I got no announcements.
Okay, well, I don't really have any announcements going into this episode. I really don't think that there's any trigger warnings. There is, stories of a dog encountering this being, but the dog is fine. Just a little scared on its way back out. Pretty much other than that. So, September 12th of 1952, brothers Edward and Fred May and their good friend Tommy Heyer were playing on the playground of Flatwoods Elementary School when they witnessed a bright lit object that flew across the evening sky. The boys reported that they watched the object come to rest on land belonging to a local farmer, G. Bailey Fisher. So just as I immediately called my mother instead of 911 when we witnessed a car going the wrong way on the freeway, the boys ran home to the...
I remember that. Yeah, a car was driving on the wrong side of the highway on Christmas Eve and flew right past us on the highway, maybe going 55.
They had to be going faster than that.
Probably. It's hard to tell whenever it's so brief. But, oh my god, what do we do? I'm going to call my mom. I'm like, no, you call the cops. And you call your mom, and she's like, you should call the cops first, not me.
Yeah. So the boys ran home to... they're like the mother of the brothers, Fred and Edward. And her name was Kathleen May. She was a former teacher and now a beauty shop operator. So they did that, instead of calling the authorities.
Well, it's harder to call the authorities in 1952. You don't got a cell phone on you.
No, but they could have went home and called the authorities, but instead they grabbed their mom.
Did they have a phone on their property?
I don't know. I'm not there.
No.
Okay, the boys reported to Kathleen that they had seen a UFO crash land in the hills. And doing what any brave mother would do, Kathleen joined her children and their friend, as well as a few other local children, Neil Nunley and Ronnie Shaver, and then Kathleen's cousin, a 17-year-old West Virginia National Guardsman, Eugene or Gene Lemon. I did see both of those. And they went to the Fisher farm.
And they just shortened it from some things.
That's what I thought too. They went to the Fisher farm, and their goal was to locate whatever it was that Edward, Fred, and Tommy had seen fly through the sky and land in the farm, or on the farm. One of the local residents' dogs, Richie, ran out ahead of the group, out of sight, and then started barking furiously. Just moments later, the dog ran back to the group with its tail between its legs. So that is the only mention of the dog, but the dog is fine. The dog just got scared. After traveling about a quarter mile, the group finally reached the top of the hill where the dog had just been. The group reportedly saw a large, pulsating, quote, ball of fire, or as some described, a pulsing red light, about 50 feet away. They also saw and smelled a mist that made their eyes and noses burn. Eugene Lemon then noticed 2 small lights located over to the left side of the pulsing red object and directed his flashlight toward those 2 lights. In his flashlight light, he revealed the creature, which was reported to have emitted a shrill, hissing noise before gliding towards them, changing direction, and then heading off towards the red pulsating light. Lemon reported that he momentarily saw a tall, quote, man-like figure with a round, red face surrounded by a pointed hood-like shape. Descriptions of the creature did vary, however, between witnesses, but not necessarily too much. In an article written for Fate magazine, based on tape-recorded interviews by UFO writer Gray Barker, who I will talk a lot more about a little bit later, the figure was described as approximately 10 feet or 3 meters tall, with a round, blood-red face, a large, pointed, hood-like shape around the face, eye-like shapes which emitted greenish-orange light, and a dark black or green body. Kathleen May described the figure as having, quote, small, claw-like hands, clothing like folds, and a head that resembled an ace of spades. According to J.W. Ocker, in his book The United States of Cryptids, Kathleen also stated that it, quote, looked worse than Frankenstein. It couldn't have been human.
I mean, Frankenstein was human.
Yeah, Frankenstein's monster.
It's actually Frankenstein's monster, or actually.
Yeah.
As I push my glasses up.
The Flatwoods Monster did end up later being nicknamed the Frankenstein with B.O.
Where did this name come from?
From her description of it looking worse than Frankenstein. And then the B.O. was the pungent smell that was surrounding it.
Damn, dude.
Yeah.
Braxton. Flatwoods Monster catching strays out here.
Indeed. So, again, witnesses reported a pungent mist, and some later said that they were nauseated and sick for days. Some of the members of the group suffered from throat irritation and vomiting as well, which persisted for many days after. These symptoms were effectively passed off as side effects of hysteria, but it is also worth noting that these are also telltale signs of exposure to mustard gas. So Lemon, he's the one who shined his flashlight at the creature, and reportedly he dropped his flashlight and ran away screaming when the creature was seen. And then I wrote, just thought you ought to know. Do we know the Harry Potter reference?
No.
When Professor Quirrell runs into the Great Hall and he goes,
yeah.
Troll in the dungeon. Just thought you ought to know. And then he falls over. According to J.W. Ocker, again, Flatwoods Monster is an alien robot in a dress. He writes the creature was, again, 10 feet tall, with long, thin claws, round, glowing eyes, set into a round face, cowled in a spade-shaped hood, and its body was covered in a green, metallic material that ended in a pleated skirt. Some witnesses did argue that the skirt itself was not actually green, but was rather reflecting the color from the foliage around it. So it was more of like a shiny metal, and like in the dusk, it was reflecting the green from the forest. The reason that we have an idea of how others were describing this creature is because the group, again, the entire group then, including Lemon, had run away in a panic and returned to their homes. Upon getting to her home, Kathleen May contacted the local sheriff and a news reporter. The reporter conducted a number of interviews and returned to the site with the farmer later that same night, which is a quick turnaround time, if you ask me. The reporter stated that there was, quote, a sickening, burnt, metallic odor still prevailing. Early the next morning, the reporter again visited the site of the encounter for the second time, this time in the daylight. The reporter discovered 2 tracks, or, quote, skid marks, in the mud.
Damn, Flatwoods Monster leaving skid marks, too.
I know, that's what I thought, too.
Keep on catching strays. Holy shit. Poor girl. She needs some, like... okay, are we going Flatwoods Monster, he or she?
I wasn't going with either.
Okay. Damn. It can't rest. I've always thought the Flatwoods Monster as a she, but I could be wrong. I could just be being sexist.
You're imposing the gender norms of wearing a skirt a pleated skirt onto a Flatwoods Monster here.
Damn.
We're not those type of people.
Okay. They, them?
Sure. And he also saw traces of a thick black liquid that was described as a, quote, odd gummy deposit.
What?
I don't know. 1952, man. It was of the times. So
Damn society.
he immediately reported them as being possible signs of a saucer landing, based on the premise that this area had not been subjected to traffic and that no wagon had been in this part for many years, and the weeds were several feet high. The grass in this area was freshly depressed, and a closer search disclosed a piece of black plastic material which did not burn when tested by the reporter. So what was it? I don't know.
Flatwoods Monster goo.
So the local, the sheriff and his deputy went with this reporter to the scene. And they were there investigating the report as well of the crashed aircraft, but they said that they saw, heard, and smelled nothing and found no other traces of the mysterious creature encounter.
Peculiar.
That's sus.
It's always sus. The monster's sus. Everything about sus. Among Us.
Yeah. After the event, investigators William Smith and his wife Donna Smith, associated with the Civilian Saucer Investigation Group, arrived and obtained a number of accounts from witnesses who alleged that they too have experienced similar or related phenomena to that of the creature in the woods. These accounts included a claim by a mother and her 21-year-old daughter, who reported that they encountered a creature with the same appearance and similar odor not more than a week prior to the September 12th incident. The mother shared that the encounter affected her daughter so much that she was confined to a hospital for 3 weeks. It's so sad.
I mean, that's how they did it back in the day whenever women were hysterical.
Yep. They also gathered a statement from the mother of a local farmer in which she said that at the approximate time of the crash, her house had been violently shaken and her radio had cut out for 45 minutes. There was also a report from the director of the local board of education in which he claimed to have seen a flying saucer taking off at 6:30 in the morning of September 13th, the morning after the creature was sighted.
Ooh, probably repaired that flat tire finally that kept her here. Or them here.
The flat tire?
Yeah, the flat woods on our flat earth.
Wow, what a connection. Wow, what a way to do that.
We're flattening up out here lately. Flat earth last week, flat woods this week with a flat tire.
I never even thought about that.
Well, I was actually editing the post from last week, like the template, so I could make our post for the next episode upload. And I'm like, oh man, I only have to delete the word earth and then write woods monster.
Yeah.
Woods monster. Whoops, I was dumb when I said that. Yeah, all I do put in woods monster on this and bam, done.
Speaking of flat tires, my tire light came on my way home from the concert last night, and I'm really hoping I don't have a flat tire when I go out there to get the groceries.
You need to just bite the bullet and actually go to the place and
I probably should. That's a problem for another stage.
Another
stage,
there's
another
more
day.
than one other stage.
Another day.
There's just one stage here.
Atlas's
Atlas's name is not Sage, and neither is mine, unless there's a sage in the walls. Are they in the walls?
That'd be an episode. There could be a doppelganger version of me.
We need
What
to
if
do
I
that
am?
for some episode eventually.
I would love to do an episode on that and then get Reddit stories.
Oh, there's a bunch of Reddit stories on that stuff.
Do you think that would be an interesting episode concept?
That would, I think.
Tell us what you think, everybody. So, another sighting of a creature similar in description to the Flatwoods Monster was reported by Mrs. Audra Harper not long before the infamous sighting on Fisher's farm. Harper claims to have seen the monster while walking through the woods near her home near the town of Heaters, which is about 5 miles north of Flatwoods. Harper and her friend were walking to a nearby store, and the road leading out of their property was rutted, and they weren't able to get through it with a car. So they had to take a shortcut through the forest instead of walking the road, which would have increased their trip super significantly. About a half mile into their trip, they noticed a ball of fire on one of the hills that they were passing. Harper dismissed it, assuming that one of her neighbors was, quote, fox chasing, which I don't know what that means. but I'm sure it was something in the 1950s. When she glanced back, she saw something unbelievable. The fire had vanished, and in its place stood a tall, dark silhouette of a man-shaped figure. Terrified, Harper and her friend ran, escaping among the rocks and boulders strewn around the hillside. The day after the Flatwoods incident, a couple named George and Edith Snitowski and their 18-month-old son were taking a leisurely drive through the mountains of Frametown, West Virginia, which is somewhere between Clay and Braxton County on Route 4. Braxton County is where Flatwoods is, so not too far. And at dusk, when they were met with a similar horrific experience, their car came to a sudden stop and refused to start again. Shortly thereafter, a putrid sulfuric odor filled the air, and the infant began to cry. The infant's fine, but it did cry. The couple circling the vehicle in hopes of spotting the culprit, or figuring out what was going on with their car. Why did it stall? Is there something wrong with the engine? Instead, though, they spotted something lurking in front of their car. From the waist down, it was similar to the Flatwoods Monster, but from the waist up, it was a reptilian humanoid. The creature dragged its lizard-like hand across the hood of the car before drifting away into the woods. This creature, thought to be the same creature that was sighted in the Flatwoods, but without the top half of its suit, is known as the Frametown Monster. So basically, they're just saying bro was undressed from the waist up.
Whoa, scandalous. Man, I do love Flatwood Monster, though.
The nicknames for the Flatwoods Monster were a little bit confusing, so I wrote them out here. So, Flatwoods Monster is referred to as the Flatwoods Monster, Braxton County Monster, again, because that's the county this took place in, Braxy, which is a recent nickname that's only probably in the last couple of years, 10 years maybe.
Probably something like that. I've seen that. I've seen some people say Braxy, Brazzy.
I don't know. I like Braxy.
I think it's pronounced Braxy.
Yeah. And if you ask me, that's really fucking adorable. I would love a alien robotic friend named Braxy. And Phantom of the Flatwoods. I also saw it referred to a lot as the Green Monster, which, if you ask me, is incorrect, because that is actually Aaron Frankel of the Boston Fleet PWHL team.
Hell yeah. So, the only one I recognize.
Yeah, so if you know anything about Frank and I, you know we love hockey. We've talked about that on here. The Women's Professional League, our favorite team is Boston, and their goalie, her name is Erin Frankel. And they call her the Green Monster because she's basically a brick wall. She has a very, very high save percentage. She's the reason, it's pretty much exclusively, that the women won the Olympics this year.
Yeah, she's a big part. So
I think in the entire Olympic run, USA only let in 3 goals?
Yeah.
Or 2?
2 or 3. And Erin Frankel, yeah, she's the only one who let in goals for the US team, but she had the longest shutout in Olympics hockey history, I think. For both men and women. Yep. Insane. But anyway, small plug. Go check them out. It's awesome. They stream it on YouTube for free. Frametown Monster is a similar creature seen again in Frametown, not far from Flatwoods. It's described the same as our friend here, Braxy, but again without the top half of its suit. According to former news editor Holt Byrne, quote, newspaper stories were carried throughout the country, radio broadcasts were carried on large networks, and hundreds of phone calls were received from all parts of the country. Needless to say, the Flatwoods Monster had taken the nation by storm. As it should. Gray Barker, who I mentioned briefly earlier, I believe, who was a UFO writer, and Ivan T. Sanderson, who was a founding father of cryptozoology, reportedly came to the town to investigate the supposed sighting. The tracks in the mud and the black liquid on the ground at the top of the hill were immediately attributed to evidence of a saucer landing in that area. The story of the Green Monster has been very well reported by Gray Barker in the December issue of Fate magazine. So it was a couple months later after following this event, and was confirmed in every aspect by William Smith and his wife Donna, who were from Downey,
California, which I did not mention earlier, but they came the whole way from California, who made a personal investigation of the rumors while they were on their way home to California shortly after the incident occurred. These were the investigators I mentioned earlier that were from the Civilian Saucer Investigation Group. According to David Houchin, the special collections librarian at the Clarksburg Library, who maintains the Gray Barker UFO collection, Barker was reportedly from rural Braxton County, again, the county in which this took place, and was born on a farm in Riffle. He was one of only 2 kids in his family to get a high school diploma, and the only one to go to college where he had ambitions to be a writer. And while that doesn't work out for everyone, and it didn't work out with him, that was until he became a writer, courtesy of writing about UFOs, Space Brothers, and the Men in Black, that his career started to really take off. While living in Clarksburg at the time, Barker must have heard of the sighting from the newspapers, maybe through the grapevine or any of the other broadcasts, but this ended up with him going to Braxton County to interview people who knew about the Flatwoods Monster incident. In the following year, he began his own publication called The Saucerian. The first issue was devoted to the Flatwoods Monster. In 1956, he wrote up the story again in his book, They Knew Too Much About Flying Saucers, which arguably introduced the idea of the Men in Black to alien conspiracy theories and became popular amongst UFO conspiracy theorists across the nation. I didn't realize that Men in Black was something that was just like created in a book.
I mean, that's where it became popularized.
Yeah, like Gray Barker is credited with creating it. As that's how I read it.
Well, I thought he was credited with like popularizing it, like letting people know it existed.
No, I don't know. I mean, it could be that, but I read it as like he introduced it.
Oh, okay.
Possible that I could be wrong. Jason Burns, a storyteller who specializes in paranormal stories in West Virginia. So he was somebody who was quoted in one of the articles, I believe, about the museum. Told the story of what happened the night of the sighting, stating, quote, "When they saw the monster alien, Mrs. May and the children all ran off to their home, and they reported it to the authorities. Apparently, the U.S. government sent some men in black, to their house who investigated the sighting, took down their witness reports, which apparently all of them were the same. Mrs. May got some of the oil on her dress that night from the ship, and so they took the dress. They said that they would return it, and they never did."
Those thieves. The U.S. government thieving. What a shocker.
I'm surprised they didn't clear their memory.
I don't think they can do that.
Isn't that in the movie?
What movie?
Men in Black.
Oh, Men in Black. Yeah. I thought you were talking like Flatwoods Monster. Yeah, in those movies, yeah.
Oh, that was the joke. So I honestly could not find much on the investigations into the UFO incident and how like the actual investigations were done, other than by like the witness accounts from the civilians, including like the reporter, the sheriff, the original witnesses. So I don't know if you off the top, like I have some information. Do you want me to read that? Then you can tell me if I'm missing something.
Yeah.
Reportedly, the creature was investigated by the government's Project Blue Book, which was the code name for the systematic study of unidentified flying objects by the United States Air Force from March 1952 to its termination on December 17th of 1969. The project, headquartered at the Wright-Patterson Air Force Base in Ohio, was initially directed by Captain Edward J. Ruppelt and followed projects of a similar nature, such as Project Sign, that was established in 1947, and Project Grudge, that was established in 1949. Project Blue Book had 2 goals, namely to determine if UFOs were a threat to national security and to scientifically analyze UFO-related data. My intention is to have one of us do an episode on Project Blue Book, because it is reportedly involved in a lot more of the well-known UFO sightings, kind of like how Ed and Lorraine Warren were involved in so many of the famous hauntings. So I think that'd be an interesting episode.
Yeah, I mean, we've talked about it a few times here and there. I believe we mentioned it in the Lubbock Lights. What other UFO cases did we do that's been around that time? It was mentioned in Joe Simonton UFO case as well, and I think in Kecksburg too.
Yeah.
So I think Kecksburg might have been after. I think what other ones were there.
Yeah, Kecksburg was the 60s, wasn't it?
Yeah, but I don't know if Blue Book had been...
Blue Book was until 69.
Yeah,
so it's possible.
There's a point before it even ended that they started like kind of wrapping it up and changing hands on who did it.
Yeah.
It was kind of kneecapped by the U.S. military in the government near the end.
I was able to find that, according to Wikipedia, Project Blue Book never identified any UFOs that were a threat to national security.
Oh, you know what they did figure out, though?
What?
So, through looking at everything, they said there were a bunch of things that couldn't be explained. So, you know what they determined with them? What they can't be explained, they must be unknown weather phenomenon we've never experienced before.
Smart.
And that's what they are all
so much sense.
classified as.
That's crazy.
Yeah, I did not agree with it whatsoever.
Yeah. I was, however, able to find information on what the sighting was deemed to be, if not an alien robot wearing a dress from outer space. For starters, it was later discovered that the tracks left on the alleged landing area that were found by the reporter the morning after the sighting were actually that of a local boy named Max Lockard, who had admitted that he had driven his Chevy truck around the sites in the hopes of seeing something, which I just think is hilarious. One, that it was a Chevy.
Drove my Chevy to the Flatwoods Monster, something.
Drove my Chevy to the levee, but the levee was dry.
And the Flatwoods Monster was there waiting to see me.
With its red eyes.
I almost said to suck me dry.
Oh my god!
You can keep that.
That's
Get rid of that
horrible.
if you think. I was trying to think of Levy, and I'm like, what?
That's terrible.
Rhymes here, and I'm like, dry, suck dry. I'm like, nah, I don't think
I mean, you're
that.
not wrong. According to skeptic Ryan Haupt, paranormal investigators had concluded that the tracks, the thick black liquid, and the rubber substance must have been left by the creature and not the truck. But in reality, the symptoms were that were reported by some of the witnesses after experiences with this evidence really was that of hysteria or overexertion from their trek up the hill. So it was easy for them to just assume that it was actually from an alien. The most common consensus on the Flatwoods Monster is the same as that of Mothman, that this was just a giant owl chilling in the woods who happened to smell like sulfur. The U.S. Air Force, through Project Blue Book, reportedly concluded that the bright light in the sky was most likely a meteor, as on the night of September 12th, a meteor had been observed going across 3 states, Maryland, Pennsylvania, and West Virginia. Additionally, as suggested by the Air Force as well as Joe Nickel of the Committee for Skeptical Inquiry, 3 flashing red aircraft beacons were also visible from the area of the sightings, which could account for the witnesses' descriptions of seeing a pulsating red light and the red tint on the face of the creature. Additionally, the creature described by witness closely resembled an owl. Think of the head of an owl with its ears up, but very easily resembled that of a spade, as well as the witness's inability to agree on whether the creature had arms. Mrs. May's report states that it had small claw-like hands that extended out in front of it, and this would match how an owl would sit on a branch with their talons wrapped around the branch, and from an angle looking upwards, that could be thought to have, been extending downwards. Or extending outward. Also, owls obviously don't have arms. They have wings. And so that could account for the no arms witness descriptions. It is possible that the shape, movement, and sounds reported by the witnesses were consistent again with the evening silhouette, flight pattern, and the call of a startled barn owl that was sitting out on a limb. Researchers into the case concluded that the foliage beneath the owl may have created the illusion of the lower portions of the monster, as it was described as having a pleated green skirt.
Interesting.
None of this, however, accounts for the Frametown monster's lack of head covering, where the top was reportedly reptilian humanoid in shape. I did not find much on this, so I was curious, Frank, if you had any thoughts on that.
I think I'll get to my thoughts after we take a little message here from our friends.
Not all paths are straight. Some twist deep into the unknown. Hey, I'm Amanda Joy, and every Thursday, a new episode of Down the Crooked Path beckons. Paranormal stories, strange encounters, and folklore that lingers long after dark. So take a deep breath, grab your flashlight, or let the mysteries guide your steps. Down the Crooked Path available wherever you listen to podcasts.
All right, thank you to our friends for that wonderful message. And Sage, I believe you're asking me my thoughts on this.
Well, yeah, mostly that the Frametown monsters didn't have the head covering, and how the owl explanation didn't cover that.
So I think the Frametown monster, because it still has like the bottom portion that's similar, right?
Yeah.
I'm thinking it's like the same type of sighting. I don't know. I kind of group them together after like hearing about this many times. I put them in the same category as one another.
Well, yeah, that's what I'm saying. But the owl explanation doesn't explain how the top was a reptilian humanoid.
I think the owl explanation is a weak explanation, in my opinion.
Really?
I do err a bit on the alien side.
Okay.
I think it's a good explanation, but I think there's other factors to it that help out the alien explanation.
Interesting. Okay. We'll have to talk about that then.
Why are you a big owl fan?
Well, I'm a big Owl City fan. But
Who?
No, I don't. I lie somewhere between the owl explanation and an alien, but the owl explanation's like a pretty good explanation.
It's good for sure, but I think with the Frametown sighting as well, how does an owl smell like sulfur? And the falling object from the sky?
I don't know. There was a meteor that night that was witnessed across 3 different states, including West Virginia.
Quote unquote meteor?
I read everywhere it was an actual meteor.
What if that meteor hit a ship and that's what happened? I mean, let's look back at Kecksburg, where there was something flying through the sky, and for a fact the satellite did go down that day, but it did not have the trajectory to have hit Kecksburg. And the initial story we were told was it was a meteor. Then we were told it was... No, I think we were told it was nothing. Then it was a meteor. Then it was actually that satellite, despite the fact that satellite, based on trajectory, couldn't land there.
Okay. I mean, you're not wrong.
Checkmate, atheists.
Okay. Any other thoughts before I continue on?
No, you can go on.
All right. You might be asking yourself, as I was asking myself, why was it so easy to believe that an unknown alien robot creature had somehow made its way to the forests of West Virginia?
Am I supposed to answer? Is that rhetorical for you to answer?
That was rhetorical. That was for me to answer. But do you have an answer?
UFOs and aliens was a big craze back then.
That's true. So Joe Nickel, I mentioned him earlier. He's our skeptic. Suggests that the witnesses' perceptions of the creature were distorted by heightened states of anxiety from not knowing what they were going to be walking into. Also, Americans at this time were facing a truly frightening future. The invention of the atomic bombs in the 40s and what seemed as a new world made by scientists with the worst intentions. Just a few years prior to this sighting in 1949, the Soviet Union had successfully tested their own atomic bomb, making the fear of America being a target a genuine reality. In 1952, America was facing the Cold War, a country fueled by anger, disillusionment, and anxiety. This was the perfect setting for conspiracy theorists, political demagogues, and those interested in the paranormal. Allegedly, Life magazine, one of the most popular publications in the nation at the time, and arguably, I would say still is, had only a few months earlier from this sighting published a seemingly credible story about flying saucers being seen in the United States. So it's no wonder that the conclusion that got jumped to was, like you said, it was a big thing at the time.
Yep. Ever since, was it Kenneth Arnold's Flying Saucers?
Jason Burns, our paranormal storyteller, mentioned earlier in this episode, is quoted as saying this, quote, "They tied it in with other stories around the country about the same time. This was the age of the space race, so there was a lot of interest in interstellar crafts. This was the time of Roswell. This was the time of Sputnik and things like that were getting ready to take off. So it was at the very forefront in people's minds. So people were thinking maybe it was just mass hysteria. Maybe it was fake. So people were thinking maybe it was just mass hysteria. Maybe it was fake. Maybe it was just made up. But I actually have met the Mays at one point years ago, a long time ago in Flatwoods at one event, and they were very adamant that they saw what they saw. And I believe that they believe. I believe them. What they say they saw? Now what it was? I don't know. Which honestly is exactly how I feel about it too.
Okay.
So before I get into the legacy pop cultures of this, did you want to share a little bit of your thoughts?
There's a lot of sightings in the 50s that are truly just incredible that I want to believe, but it's sometimes hard. This is one I just feel like is so incredible. I do sit a bit on the fence, but I don't like the owl side personally. I think they definitely saw something, but we also have to look into things such as what the U.S. military was doing at the time of this. They had a lot of things that were being seen by the mass populace, and you know what they did at this time?
What did they do?
They kind of kept, put fuel into the fire of alien stories.
Why?
Because it would be easier to discredit if a secret spy plane crashed and somebody said it was a UFO. So the idea was to have our adversaries like the Soviet Union not really think much of these stories when some dude in the middle of nowhere, some rural hillbilly saw one of them dang flying saucers, and it's supposed to not be believable rather than it being secret U.S. gear.
Oh, I mean, that does make sense.
There's one I learned of recently where there was a case where it was claimed that UFOs disabled some of our nuclear missiles.
What?
At one of our nuclear missile sites, there was a thing of lights up outside, and then everything in the missile silo shut down. And this is one that's talked about a lot. Apparently, it's come out through declassified papers that this was actually a secret test for an electronic magnetic pulse, an EMP, that shut down that area.
And what does that do again?
Shuts off all electronics when you use an EMP.
Okay.
So it wasn't a UFO that shut it down. It was the military testing secret technology.
But it was safer to say that it was a UFO. So
yeah, because you don't want to buy into, people know that you're testing secret stuff.
Well, I think
it's easier to discredit a UFO than to say, no, we were doing something secret, because then other people will start prying into the legitimacy. We're a lot of skeptics, and people, there's a lot of people in these positions of intelligence that are skeptics, so they would never explore it whenever the prevailing story is a UFO.
That's true. I did read somewhere too that at this time there was 2 men who were being executed for giving nuclear secrets to the Soviet Union.
I think it was a husband and wife.
Okay. I just remember seeing that 2 people.
Yeah, it was a husband and wife. They really, I think, set things pretty far back by giving Soviets easier access to weapons. Granted, nuclear weapons are not good in general, but we've been on stalemate ever since. Hence why we have shit like Ukraine going on, where we can't do any direct intervention without the threat of nukes. So yeah, that's a lot of my things on this. Is it also could have easily been a secret U.S. government test that we might never know about, or know about 50 years later.
Or, I mean, it's been 70 years at this point. 74.
Yeah, they keep shit secret for a while.
More than 50
years. A lot of
years.
the early Area 51 stuff is still secret.
What kind of government test do you think this would have been?
Possibly an early probe, or early drone. Who knows?
Early alien robot?
Could be.
In a pleated dress?
Yeah.
Do you know what it means to have a pleated dress? Okay. I was just curious if you understood the way that looked.
I've seen pictures of the Flatwoods Monster.
Like folds?
Yeah.
Okay. Interesting.
But I believe you have some pop culture to talk about in this, because this one has quite a bit of pop culture to it, right?
Yeah.
I think this is probably West Virginia's second most famous cryptid.
I would argue that Mothman's definitely first.
He got them cheeks to prove it.
Yeah.
However, the Flatwoods Monster just wants to keep him hidden behind that skirt.
True.
How shy, how Amish of it.
Wow. That's a little offensive.
What? Are you telling me the Amish are going to listen and give me shit?
No.
Exactly.
No.
I'm not advocating for it, but you can say whatever you want about the Amish here, and they won't hear it.
That's so mean.
Also,
there's Amish who go on Rumspringa, and they would get to hear it at that time.
Oh,
so.
yeah. The Amish, and how long is that? A month?
6 weeks? I don't know, actually.
Yeah, in those few weeks, they're going to come across Frank and Sage, unknown, unsolved, unseen.
It is an indefinite voluntary period for Amish youth that usually begins around age 16 and lasts until they make a personal decision to either become baptized into the Amish church or leave the community generally between the ages of 18 and 30. So they could have plenty of time during the Rumspringa to listen to us and hear you making fun of them.
Based on the
average is a few months to several years.
Based on our demographics I see in our breakdown, the Amish do not look like to be within our audience yet. Maybe this is a room for growth. Hey, Amish people, give us the love.
Despite the freedom of this period, roughly 85 to 90% of Amish youth choose to return and be baptized.
Wow.
That's pretty incredible. Anywho, outside the Amish, officials in Flatwoods erected a welcome sign, which designated the town as the home of the Green Monster, which again, not the home of Aaron Frankel, so I'm confused.
Does the Flatwoods Monster even review salads regularly?
I guess not.
The real Green Monster does.
Yeah. Located in the town of Sutton is the Flatwoods Monster Museum, which Frank and I did get to visit on our way back from Kentucky's trip a few summers ago. Did you want to share about it?
First off, this is I'm assuming next week you're probably going to do an episode, or next episode for you has to be about Bigfoot, right?
No.
Well, it seems like you're going on our road trip there, because if you think about that, on that trip to Kentucky, we went to Waverly Hills Sanatorium, your last episode. Then on the way back, we stopped at the Flatwoods Monster Museum and the Bigfoot Museum.
Maybe I should do Mammoth Caves.
Then we went to Mammoth Caves. You can do that for your next episode. It's our Kentucky road trip.
That is true. I never put that together, but that is funny.
Yeah, so this is actually, we saw this after we left Waverly Hills Sanatorium and left Kentucky for that week vacation we had. So, yeah, Waverly Hills was still in the mind, and we stopped here. It's a very nice little town, not big at all. Everything's pretty close. We checked out the Bigfoot Museum there, which I have now learned recently apparently might be run by racists.
What?
Like anti-LGBTQ far-right people.
Bigfoot is inclusive. Y'all fuckers. Jesus.
I was looking for the hell of it recently because I was listening to a podcast that does 1-star reviews. And I looked at Flatwoods Monster Museum review. 1-star reviews are so funny. They're so stupid. The Bigfoot ones actually talked about the owner's beliefs, so that I was a bit...
I wonder, do you think they have stuff posted, or do you,
maybe in their personal accounts, I don't know, but yeah, I wasn't too thrilled about that, but Flatwoods Monster Museum, cool. They have a really cool recreation of Monster. They got a whole lot of cool things in there, merch-wise, and just articles, artifacts. It's a really good thing. We were not there for long because we were actually kind of in a rush.
Didn't they have Beavis and Butthead merch?
Yes.
But it was Mothman and the Flatwoods Monster.
Yeah.
We were going to get one for Frank's dad, and then we didn't because we weren't sure if he was going to wear it.
He would not have worn it, he said.
But it's so funny.
Now, there's actually one really cool piece of merch there that we could not get, and they only have, I think, very occasionally. The Flatwoods Monster Museum a while back was at serious risk of shutting down. So you know what they did? They made these lanterns that are shaped like the Flatwoods Monster, and they sold them. And they sold out so fast. I know Wendigoon got one in the first sets. So those look so cool. I would have gotten one if they were available when we were there.
Hey, Wendigoon, you should share it with us.
Yeah, if he listens. We're not even sure if, the Amish listen. I'm not thinking Wendigoon's going to be listening.
That'd be so dope.
But the lanterns were so dope.
They were... That's so funny that we both just said dope. Oh, those are cute.
It showed Sage a picture. I love them so much.
So, if you guys want to visit the Flatwood Monsters Museum, it is open from 9 to 5 p.m. Tuesday through Friday.
And it is free to get into.
It is free to get into. It's 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. on the weekends. I believe they're closed Monday.
And if you buy anything, I hope this is still the case, you get a free poster, which we have the poster in our office hung up.
Yeah. The Braxton County Convention and Visitors Bureau also built a series of 5 tall chairs in the shape of the monster to serve as landmarks and visitor attractions.
We unfortunately didn't get to see any.
No, but reportedly the Bureau rewards visitors who photograph all 5 chairs with a free Braxy sticker.
Oh, I would love that.
Isn't that cute?
I have quite a bit of actually Flatwoods Monster merch. I have knockoff Legos that make a Flatwoods Monster that I need to make at some point. I have a little print of one from Daft Squatch, who's a really great artist that you can find on Instagram. We have the poster from the Flatwoods Monster Museum. And I also have a Flatwood Monster pin that was from a giveaway for it was a collaboration between the Flatwoods Monster Museum and I think Cryptozooey, which I think is a pin line of cryptids. Which interesting is the Flatwoods Monster always kind of threads the needle between cryptid and alien. Mm-hmm. A lot of people want to put it in the group of cryptids, but I think it is solidly an alien story.
If it's made of like metallic and stuff, or it's got, I would think that lands more towards alien, whereas
Especially
cryptid's more like organic.
A UFO crash.
Yeah.
I am a hardliner when it comes to cryptozoology. It is unknown animals. It's not your fantasy and folklore like your Wendigos, skinwalkers, rake, and not deer.
We don't say those words in this house.
I do.
No.
But those are
Frank's trying to curse us.
Those are not cryptids. That is folklore and internet lore. Neither is... I don't think Mothman really fully fits into cryptozoology, in my opinion. It might be more paranormal and alien. But that one, I'll digress. It has a little bit of open room. But those other four I just mentioned are not in the realm of cryptids. Those are folklore and paranormal, if anything. Tough shit for anyone who disagrees with me.
No, I mean, I can get behind that. We'll keep going.
Do you have any other pop culture?
I have a lot of pop culture.
Okay, good. You're going to mention Fallout 76?
That's literally my next one.
Nice.
So the legend of the Flatwoods Monster has also inspired media beyond West Virginia. The video games Fallout 76 and Everybody's Golf 4 contain references to the legend.
Everybody Golf 4?
Yeah, Fallout 76 is set in Appalachia, and where there is a cryptid enemy known as the Flatwoods Monster within it.
You know, there's an event going on right now as we speak of Fallout 76. You know what it is?
What?
Bigfoot has joined the game.
Oh, that's funny.
You know...
I know very little about Fallout, so
Fallout 76 is like open world multiplayer Fallout. I don't know too much about it, but I do know Mothman's in it. Flatwoods Monster's in it. Gray aliens are basically in it. They're called the Zadans, but that's in all the Fallouts. Sheep Squatch is in it. The Grafton Monster, the Jersey Devil, a cryptid dog, and I forget what it is. There's these giant sloths, but that's just more giant sloths in general. And now we have Bigfoot in there as well.
Interesting.
It has so many cryptids, and I love that. Some of them are like actual cryptids, and others are just mutated creatures that fit the bill of cryptids. But the Flatwoods Monster is an alien in the game.
That's interesting.
And also, what's his name? Injured Cold, I believe, is in.
Who's that?
He's associated with Mothman. Really creepy.
Oh.
He's also known as the Grinning Man, I believe.
That sounds horrifying. Don't look at me like that.
What? You want me to give you that Injured Cold look?
No. The second episode of the 2019 History Channel series Project Blue Book was titled The Flatwoods Monster, and it is based on the Flatwoods incident. Since 2019, Flatwoods, West Virginia has been hosting a Flatwoods Monster convention. Ew.
I just showed her Injured Cold. She does not like him.
The Flatwoods design is popular in Japanese UFO culture, having been used in numerous video games and media, though that doesn't apply just to those in Japan. Some notable examples include the Flatwoods Monster appearing as the final boss of the NES video game Amagonand. I'm really sorry, I don't know how to pronounce that. The stage 2 boss of the video game Space Harrier 2. In the anime series Sergeant Frog, an alien modeled after the Flatwoods Monster, appears in the episode Fake It Till You Make It. The Legend of Zelda, Majora's Mask features creatures referred to as, quote, them, invading Romani Ranch in a UFO. They bear a striking resemblance to that of the Flatwoods Monster. In the Wii U game, The Wonderful 101, the character Gimme has a striking resemblance to the Flatwoods Monster. And in the 3DS game, Tamagotchi Life, the Flatwoods Monster makes an appearance along with other cryptids in the Mystery Interior. And when I tell you when I read this, I was shocked because I haven't heard about the 3DS in so long. I had a pink one. I had a Nintendo DSi. I was so fancy. I thought it was so fancy because I could like message my friends on there. I had whole conversations with myself because I was lonely. Just kidding. I did have conversations with myself. In the XBLA game Happy Wars, there's a weapon called the Flatwoods Monster.
Really?
I guess. This is according to Wikipedia. On the show Mountain Monsters on Destination America, the Ames team goes to Braxton County, West Virginia, to investigate a similar cryptid, the Shadow Creature. This could possibly be a reptilian version of Flatwoods Monster, only without the skirt-like structure around its waist. Frank is covering his
Have
face.
you ever watched Mountain Monsters?
No. I don't want to.
Bunch of guys going into the woods with guns hunting cryptids. It's, some people really believe what happens, but I'm pretty sure it's just dramatized the entire way. It's reality TV.
Oh. Okay.
I think there are times they say, it's coming right at us, and they're just like waving their shotguns around, trying to hunt Bigfoot.
Someone's gonna die. 2 Flatwoods monsters appear on the cover of the album April Fools by the Scary Jokes, along with what appears to be Mothman, among other unidentifiable creatures. The Flatwoods Monster is depicted in a My Singing Monsters fan-made island in the form of chain skirt. The Flatwood Monster also appears as an alien in the second chapter of the manga Dan by Yukinobu Tatsu, and in the second episode of the manga's anime adaptation. And the last one, which I am interested to know if you noticed this, the Flatwoods Monster appears in the background of the Smiling Friends episode where Charlie, Pim, and Bill, or the episode titled Charlie, Pim, and Bill versus the Alien during the drug sequence.
The Flatwoods Monsters in that episode?
Reportedly, according to the Wikipedia, yes.
Oh, I'm gonna have to check that out.
So I saved that one for last because I didn't know if you knew about it or not, but I thought that Frank loves Smiling Friends. That's like his jam.
It's ending. It's over.
It's Jover!
Alan, we are so fucked.
But all in all, that is what I have for everybody on the Flatwoods Monster. It's surprising that I did a cryptid episode. If you saw our Pi Day...
It is more alien than anything, but...
Well, yeah, you know what I mean. If you saw our Pi Day post, which I thought was really cute and funny, I did a pie chart, because I'm a nerd, of the different categories of episodes that Frank and I do, and you can tell which ones we really, really like. I really don't do a lot of cryptids, so or really aliens either. So this was a new one for all of us.
I love doing this type of shit, talking this and diverging a little out. I'll be going back to good old hauntings next week. And it's really cool that we can, kind of track what we had and go a bit further.
Yeah, cryptids.
You are right. In fact, the Flatwoods Monster is in that scene right there.
Oh my gosh, that's funny.
I was looking it up. That's why I wasn't responding as fast.
But I'm looking at our Pi Day chart, and cryptids and aliens for me are actually tied right now at 8.1% of the episodes that I do.
And then what are they for me?
Frank's cryptids is 28.9%, and his aliens is 26.3%.
Yeah, I have one more cryptid episode.
Literally, 55% of Frank's episodes are those two things, and mine's only 16.
And yet you are 37.8 true crime, and I'm only 10.5.
Yeah.
I did more hauntings and conspiracies than what I actually have done, but I'm slacking on hauntings.
You also had less miscellaneous episodes than I did. You didn't have any. Because all the ones that I had were the interviews that we did and stuff like that. That was...
Well, my one interview was an alien interview, basically.
Which I think I put with aliens because it was based on that, so...
Damn, you've done more hauntings than me. I'm slacking. True crime,
We're pretty even on conspiracies, though. You're at 15.8%, and I'm at 13.5%.
Conspiracies are just so hard to do because you have to avoid the racism ones.
Yeah.
And there's so many racism ones. I don't want to do a racism, guys. Please, don't make me do a racism.
I don't want to do that either.
The Wheeling Nailers ECHL hockey team should do a Flatwoods Monster night.
Hey, Wheeling Nailers, if you want us to get involved with that, let us know. That'd be dope as hell. We love you. We're big Penguins fans, so
And just big hockey fans. You're
you're Penguins adjacent.
The Florida Everblades actually did a Skunk Ape game, and I bought online a signed Florida Skunk Apes hockey puck.
It's so cool looking.
I also have a Carbondale UFO hockey puck, which is cool. That's my favorite hockey puck I have, is the Carbondale one, because it has like a 3D texture to it.
Oh, it's so neat. It's definitely the coolest
My
one.
hockey puck collection is looking cooler and cooler. The Skunk Ape one is the only one I didn't go in person to get. All the other ones I've been in person. I now have 4 signed pucks now.
There's a lot of pucks, yeah. I don't remember how
Puck,
many.
yeah.
Oh, nice. So the book I'm reading right now is called Puck Off. But anywho, so that is what I have for everybody.
All right, thank you, Sage, for this. I'm trying to think, is there anything else you want to go over in this before we wrap this stand-up, or what?
Am I missing something? Is that why you're asking?
No, I didn't know if you had anything.
Oh, no. That was
All
the
right.
end of I wanted to end on the note of smiling friends.
All right, well, R.I.P. Smiling Friends. They the real ones.
Ridiculous.
What?
You.
Me, I'm going to miss it. It was a quality show. You know, there are other cryptids in it, like Sasquatch, the Yeti, Brown Blur, and Mothman.
Interesting.
They all make appearances in it.
They do.
You know what the Brown Blur is?
No. A
It's
poop
just
stain? Skid mark?
no, it's the boss's colonoscopy.
Nice.
Yeah, but their cryptid in it, Mothman does die, unfortunately, and so does Bigfoot. But I think that was actually a body double voice act. Body double made out of clay or something, according to the landlord.
Ah, nice one.
Yeah,
So-
you don't know anything that's
No,
saying.
do you want to wrap us up here, though?
All right, I think it's time to wrap us up. So thank you guys for listening today. If you like what you're listening to, go check us out on our socials, on our Instagram, our Blue Sky that's not used, and our TikTok that I've been using less because of the adherence to the Epstein cover-up. They are censoring that shit last I saw. But if you like what you're listening to, go check us out. And also on whatever platform you're listening on, give us a like, comment, review, subscribe. We really appreciate every little bit of it. We are very thankful for all the listens that you guys do and support us with, because we've been seeing a little uptick here. We're very thankful for all of you. So leave us a review if possible. It really helps us boost us in the algorithm. So with that being said, I think it's time for us to do the sign off.
Alrighty.
Are you ready, Sage?
I am.
So remember,
To look for
the unknown
the unsolved.
and the unseen.
Thanks for listening.
Bye, guys. Watch out for Braxton.